Hello!
Welcome back.
Yes, to a special Sewing Bee chat special.
Yeah.
He's off.
We have a special guest. We have Ting Stewart.
Yes.
Hello.
And he's already getting stitches. And we have a knitting nurse off camera.
Yes, you might be able to hear her pitch now. Say hello.
Hello.
There she is. We've decided that over for the next 6 or 7 weeks we're going to be doing these little short Sewing Bee chat episodes where we talk about the programme because it's back.
Yes.
Did you watch the first season?
Yeah, I watched all of them.
Those. How many seasons before? 2 or 3 seasons?
I think this is season 5.
Season 5.
Yeah.
And when it was first on, it was presented by the lovely Claudia.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember many because I didn't get into it straight away because, I was still teaching. You are still teaching, aren't you?
I still managed to watch it, but fine.
I didn't watch it then.
I was going to say, I watched it and I work full time too.
Yeah.
I only know one previous winner, and that was also a Stuart as well.
Yeah.
Stuart Hilliard, is that
I don't
right?
remember any of the contestants or winners. I remember some of the clothes and the general feeling of it, but that's about it.
Stuart came and opened the sewing shop in just outside Bury in Risby.
Did he?
The Cosy Cabin, yeah.
Oh,
When he won it that year.
and they're doing really well, actually, the Cosy
Yes,
Cabin on there.
yeah.
Nice
I
little
did not know
place.
that.
Yeah, they've expanded out there.
Fancy.
So it's back after a year off, whether that was because of the whole debacle of the Bake Off going over to Channel 4, I don't know. But it's
Don't
back with a new presenter, Joe. Is
Yeah.
it Joe Lycett? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we think of Joe?
I like him.
I love him, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he tickles me. He's very amusing.
Because I don't know him at all, so
Yeah.
I've never seen him before.
Esme is new as well.
No, she did last season.
Was it last
didn't-
season?
Well,
She's done a couple,
Oh,
hasn't
has she?
Yeah.
But the other one was more full time before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, she's still relatively new.
but you like Joe? Because I don't know his work, so he's a comedian. Yeah.
He's a
Is that
comedian.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very witty. He's
Yeah,
very dry.
I thought he was quite.
And he can be
dry
very
to-
close to the thing.
Mark.
So
Yeah.
BBC
Yeah.
2, pre-Watershed for him was going to be a
struggle.
challenge. So that was another reason to watch it.
Yeah.
But, is
But
that
he's
why
done very well.
But is that why it's on an hour later? Because actually it's not.
It's Joe.
9, isn't
In
it?
case
Yeah.
well,
No,
yeah,
it's true.
yeah, but he didn't drop any clangers, no.
No, he was really good. I enjoy him. He tickles me no end. It was quite good this week though. It was all cotton.
Yeah, so
It's
it was, which is actually good for the shop because that's all we have here is cottons.
Yes.
So I thought that was a good one to start off with.
Yeah.
Because there are so many other types of fabric out there, but actually sometimes you forget the good old-fashioned cotton, don't you?
And it's quite.
So what about the
There's lots of-
judges? As Esme and Patrick, have you got a favourite?
I'm quite liking Esme.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I fell in love with her navy dress that she was wearing, and I was just like, "Oh, I like your style." But that was just. And Patrick's always a winner.
Yes.
But I like
Yeah.
Esme.
Yeah.
And especially when they showed the picture of her towards the end, like a really old picture of her in her leopard one print.
Yes, on the motorbike.
On the bike, yeah. I was like, oh, I like you. I like your style. You're fun.
So the first episode we were introduced to the contestants. We'll just briefly have a quick chat through them for the first time, and then from there on we'll just talk about each of the challenges. So let's go through the contestants. What about Ben?
He was the one. He was the one with the t-shirt and the
Yeah,
eggs.
the big
yes.
fried eggs.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
the fried eggs one. Yes,
Yeah.
and I've since seeing him in that T-shirt. I've seen that everywhere on Instagram.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It's
You
been
not seen
it's
it?
been around for a while.
So what do we think of him?
Yeah, he's.
I thought he was good, and he had a good couple of garments, especially
Yeah.
the wiggle dress, which we'll talk about
Oh, yes.
later. But
Yeah.
We then had Janet, the retired shopkeeper.
yeah, she's been sewing for a while, so
Yes.
she's probably got a bit of skill behind her.
Experience.
But she was kind of in the background, and they always edit these things because they can't put all 10 into the
No.
first episode. So
No, what are you saying that she did appear a lot, or
No, that she didn't appear that much,
I
so-
think that's the same with Jen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But Jen had some good bits though, right? Am I getting my? See, the guys remembering by name, and I need people's faces, so
it's
I'm going to
the
struggle
school
with this.
teacher in us. We can
Yeah.
remember
Whereas
lists of names.
I need a
Jen
face.
was the blonde with short curly.
Again, not
hair.
edited in
Yes,
it
but
very
she
often.
did. But she had a nice wiggle dress. Oh no,
Yeah.
jumpsuit. Was it her jumpsuit? Either way, I quite liked her
But
stuff.
I think
she's a slow burner. She's not been edited in. She's going to make it through.
Yeah.
I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. Mark my words, she's going to make it through.
We have it down now.
We then had, who I think will have stood out for everyone because of how well she did, the primary school teacher.
Yeah,
Juliet.
she had two outstanding.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
wiggle dress
Although-
and her jumpsuit.
Shocking transformation.
Oh, the denim
yes.
was awful.
Yeah. Well, we'll come
It
to that
was
when we talk about
awful.
the challenge, the
Yeah.
alteration.
I can
challenge.
understand what she was going for, but
We then had Mercedes and then Ricardo. the Italian.
Yeah. Mercedes also had a shocking
She did.
denim
And you'll like
transformation.
Ricardo just because he's Italian.
Yeah. Easily swayed.
Your Italian heritage. You go on and on and on
You have
about.
Italian heritage.
We had,
He's got coffee running through his veins.
we then had Tom, the young lad.
Yes.
Local for us.
Hey?
Yeah.
Chelmsford.
Yes, yeah, Chelmsford, just down the road. Sheila and then Leah.
Leah had a rough week.
Yeah, she
Yes,
did.
but I can relate to Leah in that she wants clothes. She started making clothes so that she had clothes that fitted her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really struggle with that because my portion sizes, or women generally aren't all the same size, but portion sizes are on the wonk.
And then we had Alexia. Or Alexi, sorry.
Alexi,
yes,
yeah.
That's the bloke, Alexi,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. The engineer. So, all right, let's go into the first round and we'll talk about some of what was the wiggle dress, wasn't it? That was the challenge.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of the wiggle dress before, had you?
Have you never seen Marilyn Monroe?
Oh.
Do you know what Phillips?
Then that is the wiggle dress.
Like they were
is it?
both shocked. Pardon? I'm very sorry about this, people. I don't know where we got him. Yeah, wiggle dress. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Especially like
Dress?
50s, 60s.
I think I've probably seen it, but I just didn't know it was called the wiggle
Doris
dress.
Day. You know, all of those sort of old films.
Yeah, okay. So it was obviously Cotton Week and they were making the wiggle dress.
Yeah.
So we had a couple that stood out in that round for pattern matching issues, Joe, didn't we?
yes.
Yes, and I suppose that's because there were so many pieces. I mean, poor Tom got his patterns going
Upside
yes.
down.
the other way. so,
Yeah.
so as it came, so it
Totally.
came up to the middle and then down from the top.
Yeah.
I reckon if he did a nice belt across the middle, though, totally could have got away with that. But it's the same. Alexi, he also
his cars
he had
were
his cars upside down.
You've got to be so careful with directional print, no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing quilting or clothes, whatever, because
Anything.
it just. If you're doing a wall hanging and it's upside down, it's going to look ridiculous. You've got to plan your pieces.
And if
Yeah.
you're on telly doing a competition, surely you would, if you were Tom and Lexi, are you not working harder to make sure the pattern is right?
But you've got to
Or is it
remember they're
but
doing it in
stress?
3 hours.
Yeah, and
if
they're
I
under
was making
pressure.
it, I'd take a whole day to do, like a couple of the
Yeah.
other sitters, like I'd cut that out and go and make a cup of tea, and then I'd answer the
They
phone.
have time,
Yeah.
and don't forget their brain is working overload. Have to this, and then they're like, okay, that's ready, and you run
And
it.
you've got someone
then
going
it's
3
like-
minutes.
You're like, it's a lot of pressure. It's
So
so
they-
impressive they do what they do. Never
Oh
mind.
God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they were the two that stood out having pattern matching issues. What about the
Yeah.
fabric issues? Because obviously it's cotton, but we all know there are loads of brands of cotton and
Yeah,
types of
because
cotton.
Leah has struggled with that. Because didn't she had stretch cotton,
Yeah,
and it was a bit lumpy bumpy on the sides, and it didn't.
Do you think she chose the fabric because she liked the design,
Well,
or
she said
did
that
she?
she picked it because of the pattern.
But I can also understand, because a couple of them had gone, it's got a bit of stretch in it, and they felt that would work because as a wiggle dress it is fitted.
Yeah.
And so you don't
a
want it to
little
tear when you bend over.
Yeah, if
and
it's too stiff,
so
it's not gonna work.
They're going to think, if it's got a bit of stretch in it, it'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually,
Hers is
as the
too
judges then went and said, you don't want it to have stretch because
Well, it
it's
then-
fitted.
Yeah,
You-
bunched
well,
on
they
the-
said a sort of
the zip,
tiny
wasn't
amount,
it?
too much, and
Yeah.
it's just
Got a bit
too
lumpy,
far.
didn't it, at the top?
And down the sides as well. It was cricket.
Now, this bit I do know a little bit about because
Oh, really?
it's the invisible zip, isn't it? Because zips
Yeah.
are it's one of the
Nightmarish.
things that often people come into the shop for lessons on.
Yeah.
So how do you think they tackled the invisible zip?
Well, I thought it
situation.
went quite well because quite a few of them did.
Yeah,
do
I
quite
think
well.
also if you're used to making clothes, I mean, I don't, so I would still struggle with a zip.
Yeah.
But if you're used to making clothes, nearly all zips are invisible.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the basic skills you learn.
Yeah.
I think again the time pressure is what often throws them, because very often the zip will be the last thing
Yeah,
you
and
put
they're-
in, and
they're
then
rushing
suddenly
to
you
get it
forget to
in.
do the top stitching, or you don't do it
God
across the
love it.
bottom.
One of the ladies, was it Sheila, and her zip broke.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think they were
I feel
trying
so
it on
bad for
though,
her.
weren't they? That was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
bad.
but that was also
Yeah.
because it was too tight.
Yeah.
So she was
Too
trying to
snug.
force it up the model,
Okay.
and then it
Zip
broke.
broke.
So
Okay, so to sum up the wiggle dress, which one was perhaps your favourite out of?
I loved Ricardo's print,
Oh,
but
so did I.
it was such a big print that because he had to cut it, you lost some of the
Okay.
definition of that huge feathery thing.
Yeah,
But I did
I thought
like.
it was fabulous.
I mean, they liked Tom's, and I think he'd done very well with the pattern that he chose.
Yeah.
He was able to hide
Yeah.
his seams and match them very well.
What about
I
yours?
quite liked-
What was your favourite?
But
ones you
Juliet's was
liked.
just fabulous. But
Yeah.
I also was a fan of Ricardo's because the print for me, it was just like, oh, that is fabulous.
Yeah.
And there was one of the other ladies had a really nice, simple, clean, was like diamonds.
Oh
did
yes,
that
but then
one.
she messed her pattern matching up
Yeah.
with that as well. And again,
Yeah.
even though it was a tiny pattern, you've got to be so careful.
Yeah, but I love the pattern of that.
Yeah.
And
What about
but the
you?
judges, for me,
I feel like we've been interviewed here. So
You know-
what was your favourite?
Tell us, please.
well, I actually liked Alexei's with the cars, even though they were upside down. But because I thought it, and he had the darts, because it was all about the darts as well around the
But
bust.
I mean, you're not a woman, but
No.
I don't know if a woman would have
I
worn the
didn't.
cars.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have. For me, it looked really busy and kind of painful to
Yeah.
look at. I didn't appreciate it.
And Juliet won though that round.
Yeah.
didn't she?
But
So-
hers, she finished it off really nicely. Everything was clean.
So then it goes on to the alteration challenge, the denim. We like it as a challenge, just full stop.
I like the
Yeah.
whole challenge, even
Yeah.
throughout the series, whatever they choose, it's always great
Yeah.
to see them take an old piece of clothing.
Especially at the minute, I have 4 pairs of jeans at home that I was going to eBay, and now I'm like, I could make something
Make
with
a
these.
skirt.
Yeah. Well, I really liked Alexi's skirt.
Or you could make a Joey pouch.
Oh,
That was just
Yeah.
painful. I was like,
Yeah, well,
it
that was
feels like she
Mercedes,
fell
wasn't
into
it?
her
Of all the
clothes.
places you want to draw the eye.
yeah. What do you think their thinking was there though?
I think she just got carried away with herself. I think she just got carried away with it because I can understand she was going for a Victorian bustly kind of feel, and isn't that what she was saying? And bohemian. And
Yeah, it never
something.
got up enough, did it, for the bustle?
No,
It did.
and it was just like,
Yeah, it did,
And-
didn't
Yeah.
it?
But it's the same. If I was to say to you, there's a load of fabric there, do something with it, you'd go, and
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they
Brain-
did. Again,
it was
it's
a
the
brain
time
fart.
element.
yeah, complete brain fart. Alexei's, I loved. I really
Yeah.
liked that skirt. It's like that's something I'd actually wear.
The
and it looked
different
really nice.
colours,
Yeah.
he managed to do that really
and it
well.
did it really
yeah.
nicely. I thought that was.
Well, it was
nice.
quite
And the
sleek,
halter
wasn't it?
dress.
Because when you see it, the stripes were sort
Swept
of
over.
and the angles kept changing. Is
Yeah.
that the engineering in, I suppose?
Yeah.
But was it too simple?
No, because
No,
the piecing he'd done,
Yeah.
he'd had to make the front and the back separate and then match the pattern on the
the back,
sides. So I think, and then he'd had those pockets that overhung.
Yes, that tickled me at the end. We're like, oh, was that, were they supposed to be hanging? And is that, I'll leave you hanging? I thought, yeah, perfect.
Now, during that bit, I quite liked the interplay between Joe and Sheila with the whole Rhiannon thing. Because she was
Rihanna.
doing Rihanna, she was
Her
go
top.
show, I don't know, the big sleeve,
The, like, puffballs.
sleeve,
I
yeah.
love the sleeves.
And I thought that interplay was quite good.
Yeah.
Humour.
And I was really pleased that the judges realised that, because obviously once it got onto the model that has no arms, they did just kind of hang there, but they
Yeah.
realised that was
On
the
a person, that would be
that was
fabulous.
yes, because she'd put the elasticated
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's
thing.
not
It then
easy
they
to
could
do
understand that it
necessarily.
would create the puff.
Yeah, because that's not necessarily easiest thing
No,
to do.
it would have been
Those-
very
Oh, I
easy
wouldn't know.
to just say, "Oh, it's going to hang there." Which unfortunately, Ricardo just kind of, I don't know where he got such a big bit of denim from. There must have been a skirt, but it was just a flat bit of denim, and
Yeah,
he
but
didn't
I
really
quite
do
like-
much with it.
No, but I actually like the top. I like the finished product.
It finished all right.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I was like, I can't see where that's going.
Yeah, it was very, very simple, but I liked it. I like a nice clean, like I'm wearing just a simple top today. I quite like
yeah.
the nice clean
Yeah.
structure of that sort of stuff. So I quite like it, but it wasn't outstanding. Like the halter dress.
Oh yes, yeah.
It was fab.
Which ultimately
Won.
Although, I mean, on a practical level, it was made from the trouser leg of a jean, and if you think at how much that would sit around, that'd actually be quite heavy
Yeah.
and
And
bulky
you better
to
make sure
actually
you have
wear.
good underwear underneath just in case. You got to make sure you're supported there. But yeah, no.
What about Esme commented on Liz Bow? I mean, it was
Well, I'm not a bow person anyway, so
saying
I wouldn't have put a bow
Did
on.
it need to be bigger?
Yes, it was entirely lost.
Yeah.
It needed just a wee bit more, or a bit
Especially
more
'cause it was in a
structure or
contrasting
something.
colour, it just
Yeah.
looked awkward.
It just, I think a wee touch bigger would have worked. It was okay, but it looked kind of half-assed. If you're going to do it, go full on, or
Yeah.
don't bother. Do you know what I mean? You kind of want a big flump, and it would have been nice.
Although I
So,
still wouldn't have liked it.
who's your favourite?
You
then,
wouldn't have to wear it.
out of that.
I did like the halter dress, and I liked Alexei's skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked Ricardo's wasn't spectacular, but it was a nice top.
Because we were talking earlier about Tom again, because he finished. Some of these didn't actually finish.
Well, I'm not
did they?
ready to talk about Tom yet.
Oh, okay.
It still hurts. I don't think he should have gone home.
Because he had a finished article, didn't
He did reasonably well in those first two
What did
challenges.
he make again in the denim?
It was the top,
And it
in
had
one
the
colour,
nice
what-
buttons and
and then
kind
it
of-
went into
That
a
was
skirt.
supposed to be, that was supposed to be a dress
Oh.
for a child, maybe.
Oh, right.
But
but it was finished.
Yeah.
There was some whose wasn't. Someone's
Juliet's
wasn't
was
finished.
awful.
Oh yes, this is what we
Yeah,
were saying
yeah.
earlier.
Juliet's was really bad.
Yeah, but then she had 2 other great.
And
But I think
Outstanding,
you
yeah.
made a good point earlier. Is that like a lot of the people on there, they've only been sewing for 2 or 3 years, and I think Juliet can work well with a pattern. But you
Yes.
give someone a freestyle challenge,
Yeah.
and you've got to eyeball the pattern and
Yeah.
work it out yourself, and you're doing it onto a mannequin, so it's not even on a person. So she talked a very good game of how it was going to be this off the shoulder thing, and I think in her head it was all going fine, and then the minute she held out to the mannequin and this shoulder kind of came right out here and it just didn't work.
Yeah, so she can work. She's a pattern
So
person.
she might do really well
Yeah.
in the first 2, but always struggle
On those
in that,
creative
in that
yeah.
creative one.
That's where I think Alexi would come in handy with his engineering head.
Yeah.
He'd be able to
and he
plan
did
that.
that skirt was really well made.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, we are doing this live in the shop. So if customers come in, I'm just going to go off and serve them, and
Yeah.
you're going to carry on.
Yeah, so,
That's what
yeah,
it's all
just in
about,
case.
isn't it? So it goes through to the last round, which was the made-to-measure round. You can see the similarities in the bake-off. It's done by the same company, isn't it? It's the similar structure.
Yeah.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong here. They still like the bake-off. Get time to practice this one, don't they?
They know what that pattern
Yeah.
is, so
Yeah.
that they can practice the pattern, and also they know what fabrics they're going to use. They've pre-chosen their fabrics. They're not choosing from the haberdashery.
So they have, in theory, they have tested, and they can time them, and they can.
Yeah.
They
can
can practice.
Didn't
them.
one of them dye their own fabric?
Yes, Tom.
Oh, yes,
no,
Tom.
Ben.
Ben. Yeah. Yeah, he went for that nice sort of olive green colour.
Yeah,
didn't
it was beautiful colour.
Yeah. Because he couldn't find the fabric he wanted, I presume. I think that's what they were
Maybe,
saying, wasn't
yeah.
it? So let's come now then to Tom, because we were just finished talking about him. So he chose, rather than just having one whole fabric,
You've got a
he
lovely
had-
plum
outside
outside, and
here,
then,
this
a bright
band,
panel.
Yeah.
which then a belt, and then it had to carry on down. So obviously that was going to cause issues. But at what point, as a judge, do you then go, right? He's tried to do something very, very difficult. So are we less harsh on him because he's?
It's always going to be difficult, and you've got Alexi, who cut the whole panel out, which I thought was very brave in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
But actually, he then didn't have to pattern match anything.
No.
And even Mercedes, she had very plain fabric, which, as Patrick pointed out, you make a mistake on that, it is going to show.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
plain fabric.
Yeah.
Poor Tom made it very hard for himself,
Yeah.
because not only did he have this front panel, but that front panel came down each side of the chest,
Yeah.
and then it stopped in the middle, which had to be pattern matched with a belt,
Yeah.
and it came up both trouser
Carry
legs.
on.
Yeah.
But he matched the pattern on the rear, which was such a shame because it looked lovely from behind.
Yeah.
But
He
of
did
course,
do it on
it was
front.
here where everything was just a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
And given that
he made it hard for himself, but he finished his apart from the
Yeah.
straps, which was just 2 bits of
Yeah.
ribbon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Jen didn't finish her.
he
She was one of them.
showed quite a lot of skill there, even though it didn't quite work out.
But surely he should have. He knew what the pattern was going to be. He knew the fabric.
there
he
is
knew
that
his time
argument.
constraint.
That's
Why
the
did?
thing.
And he said himself repeatedly that he never managed to finish it at home
time,
or to pattern
yeah.
match.
How long has Tom been sewing in comparison to?
He's only
Yes.
2 or 3
Yeah.
years
Yes,
ago.
but common sense still kicks in that you think, well, I have this amount of time. I've never managed to finish it or pattern matching
Yeah,
at home.
yeah.
At what point do you go? I should probably actually
Yeah.
do something I am good at and show them how good I can complete
But-
something.
How long's the Bake Off been going on for as a TV programme? Yet they still, and you've been watching
Well,
it, and you enter, and you still.
But you only have to think of poor Ruby this year as her cake slid off and
Yeah.
crashed down
Yeah.
as they all left the tent, and baking is a little bit easier to practice than all of that
Yeah.
sewing
Yeah.
because the ingredients are relatively cheap compared to all that fabric. He
Yeah.
probably only made that jumpsuit once or twice because of the amount of fabric
Cost.
involved.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of skill in there, and I was quite surprised when he then ended up in the bottom because although he wasn't at the top of the other 2 challenges, he was kind of mid-table for the other 2.
Yeah.
So yes, he hadn't matched it up, and I can understand them wanting to highlight that. But equally, I thought he'd done enough from the other 2.
Yeah, but he
perhaps
had
not be in the
made
bottom.
big enough mistakes in the other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that it was suddenly a big mistake at the end. It was, well, he did that wrong and he did that wrong. And whereas with some of the others, at least they completed other things nicely and finished them off well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like Leah, who wasn't particularly great in the other 2, her jumpsuit was lovely.
But then how
Yes.
much do you, with the practice going on there, that you can turn that argument on its head in that she's made that one over and over again, but the minute you gave her a pattern that she's never made before or a challenge that she's never done, she couldn't do it.
Okay, let's move on to Janet. Now, that did stand out. I think a lot of people commented on that. The sailor rope.
Yeah, I really like that. That'd be something I would happily wear in the summer.
Yeah.
Nice and slouchy.
And it is all about the details. The fact that the rope went this way and in the pockets went that way, but everywhere else it was going, and it was
fab.
That is how you work with the pattern.
Yeah.
Pattern fabric.
Yeah, that's really detailed. Yeah, because the rope was going in the same way as the pattern in the pocket to the top bit, wasn't it?
And who doesn't like a macrame belt? She tied that all herself.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it's really summery and fresh feeling.
Yeah.
I know Sheila. What the judges said right from the beginning. One of the issues to watch out for is the tightness around the buttocks with the shift dress.
She had a hungry bum
with the jumpsuit.
There was a couple that had a hungry bum, wasn't there?
But I really loved her. I loved her jumpsuit.
Yeah.
She clearly got it a wee bit wrong in that aspect. Because hers was one of the ones that I really liked. I liked the pattern, the material. It was nice and
You just
clean.
felt like saying, "Don't bend over."
Yeah, just don't sneeze. God, yeah.
Any movement
Don't move,
is
clench, everything.
What about Ricardo's dynasty sort of style 80s?
I loved it.
Do you know-
That tickled me.
I loved the pattern and the shape, but I just felt that navy, the blue was a bit flat. When he'd used such a brilliant
bold
pattern
colour
on that,
before.
and again, this is the practiced at home.
Yeah.
I just think, if you're going to go 80s, go with the fabric as well,
Go,
full on
go.
dynasty, silvers, shoulder pads, the lot.
There were two fabrics, but they were too. It was just dull, wasn't
And
it?
I
there
liked
was
the
no
fact
pop.
that it had a tapered leg.
Yeah.
Those that had those big wide legs as well, they're very fashionable, but I just
love a wide
like the
leg.
skill to taper that down, I think, is better than just the flat fronted ones.
And it is very, very retro. It was fabulous.
I just felt disappointed by his fabric choice because this was the one where you could choose your fabric, and I would have just gone a bit
Speaking
more.
of fabric, though, I loved Mercedes' colour. The colour of her jumpsuit.
The mustardy.
Yes, with the little flan red.
It almost looked like raw silk kind of.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
This is what I have to work with.
This is why I'm a beginner sewer, so most of this is all over
The
my head.
piping was impressive.
But she could do that because there was no pattern on her dress.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put that piping in if there was a pattern because you'd want to match the pattern, and you can't do that very well with piping because you have to sew the piping onto one side and then bring the other bit of the fabric up to it, and trying to match that is very difficult when you can't see.
But if she had made a mess of that piping, it would have been so painfully obvious because it was so plain.
But has she then used, that's where she's perhaps thought about it more, I've got this skill, I can do piping, so actually why don't I put one of these skills in here?
Yes, it's almost like playing to your advantage, like Tom should have done.
Indeed, yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? Do what you do and do it really well.
Yeah. And obviously the winner of that jumpsuit.
Yes, Juliet. I like the style of it. I wasn't keen on the colours and stuff. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I liked that it was really well finished off. It was stunning.
It was the two colours, wasn't it?
It was the yellow
polka
and the
dot.
And it had the puffy sleeve.
When they were doing the final
slant.
thing, and it was like, have I got time to make a belt?
Yes.
And she did make the belt, and I think if she hadn't,
It
that
wouldn't have
would
been
not
this.
have. That belt needed to go on there, so it was quite worrying that possibly it wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
In the original design, it was like, oh, I've finished. Have I got time to just do a belt? Because actually, without that, I think it would have been a bit more shapeless.
And we were talking about the fact that she's good with a pattern, and clearly she went off pattern for that bit.
For the belt.
For the belt. But she was able to look at it and go, okay, well, it needs something. So that's something at least.
Okay, your ones to watch for then for the next couple of weeks.
I
Who
reckon
do you
if
think?
Leah pulls herself together, I reckon she could do some good bits. Because whenever she did and got the jumpsuit right, it was really nice.
Yeah, Leah
and I like
did
Ricardo
nice.
as well.
Yeah, okay.
But Leah seems a bit tense.
Yeah, she
Which
seems
could
really
go against
stressy.
you.
That's what I mean. If she can get herself together and just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
But I also quite liked, was it Sheila who kept designing for various stars? Like she was doing Rhiannon and she tickled me. I quite like her style.
What about your favourites, ones to
Well,
watch
I
out
mean,
for?
Juliet,
we
obviously.
were talking earlier about how, you've probably got half of these contestants who have been sewing all of their lives, and you've also got the other half of the contestants that have only been doing it
Very new
2
to
or
it,
3 years. So part of you really wants someone who's,
New to
developing and showing they can do it. I think Ben had a really good week.
Yeah.
And I would
be
quite like to
interested to see
see
who
another
does.
man win. It's a bit early to say whether he would do that or not, but just the last couple of series, it was 2 women that have won it.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite nice to see a guy win it, but he was very good. And I think you can't fault Juliet, but I'm worried about the pattern thing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
How much she'll struggle when on that alteration challenge of where she goes.
But like I said earlier, we all know that these things are very formulaic and the way they're edited together and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I said, the fact that we didn't really see much of Jen. I think that's because we're saving that.
Yeah.
But she did really well with, what was it, her outstanding piece?
She did well. She did the halter neck in the alteration challenge,
yes.
and I think you're right. I think. All right. Well, I know it's a very early stage, but come on, at this stage.
Oh no!
No.
Well, hang on. Who are your favourites?
Yeah, you haven't even said who your favourites were.
Well, I'm gonna do a
here.
sweeping bet and say I think Jen's going to win.
Oh,
so I'm going to say.
So she's your favourite?
Yeah, dark horse.
So she goes out next week.
Come on.
When people are watching this after it's already gone.
Well, they're all going to be saying at home, aren't they? Who they think already. So cool.
But I said to you earlier, there was no one who leapt out at me of like, oh my god, I really want them to win.
Yeah. Well, I
think I need a couple of weeks to develop a relationship with some of these people.
Yeah, until you become attached to someone. Yeah.
But then just your emotions get in the way then.
Well, of course, but it does with all of this, doesn't it? It doesn't matter whether they're baking a cake, making a dress, or whatever. You start to get your favourite, and no matter what they do, you're like, well, it doesn't matter that the pattern doesn't quite match, or it doesn't matter that it's a little bit short, or
you become attached, and you're like, I like your style. Yeah. Use like bold colours. That's why I quite like Ricardo, because the fact that his leather jacket is from a leather sofa, and I was like, what a genius!
Although
see that.
I would hate to work with leather.
Oh yeah,
if it was sewing machine,
nice.
That would be an absolute nightmare.
Beast.
Well, it's got to be easier than jersey, though, isn't it?
What has sewing bee inspired you to do anything?
I wanted to do a wiggle dress straight away.
Yeah.
I think it was stunning.
Yes.
I went and googled
a chest.
Wiggle dress, but I couldn't find a pattern. But
it's because you're too tight to pay for a pattern. That's what it is.
I wouldn't surprise me if all the big sort of independent companies like Tilly and the Buttons start selling lots of patterns now.
Yes. Well, this is clearly it's taken off, because in the last video I mentioned Wendy Ward.
Oh yes, you did.
And then I was ordering. I have already got one of her solo patterns, like a dress. And I did classes with Wendy in Brighton, and I went and bought the book. I'll do a close up. You can have a look. But it's got loads of bits in there, so I'm already like, So next payday I may have to come in and get some new fabric and get started.
But you were looking at jerseys. We've got to do cotton.
This has got jersey.
This has
got jersey. But I reckon some of the patterns could lend themselves to cotton, like the t-shirty ones. They could easily be a slightly more structured, like they could easily become cottony, right? In my head, I'm looking at these.
We'll have to try and do a challenge as well. Perhaps we should dig out our old denims and do a challenge here. That would be quite fun, wouldn't it?
Well, I do. I already have four pairs of jeans sitting waiting to be reused somewhere. So.
Plus, you haven't got the denim needles in stock, surely.
I do actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Well, they call them jeans needles. Yeah. So I've got those.
Yeah.
But we'll have to slowly start increasing our stock now. All right. Well, that's it. Well, and the winner, we know the winner.
Juliet.
Juliet. So
garment of the week.
Garment of the week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
But she had 2 very good garments. So fair enough.
So we'll talk more next week.
Yeah.
About next week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe we'll get this up before the next one.
That could be sensible, good, wouldn't it?
Rather than go up on a Wednesday, put it up before.
Constantly one episode behind. It'll be like that 2 Ronnie sketch.
Yes, that's a good scene, isn't it? On the telephone, it's a lag, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. And we didn't have one customer, so it was meant to be, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Okay, so that is us.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so if you like the chatty sewing bee, then watch. That'll be on a different playlist, won't it?
Yes, we're going to have a separate playlist. I'm aware that the camera seems slightly on the wonk. I've just realised. I'm sorry if we're on the wonk.
Are we on the wonk? Are we falling down?
I think we're slightly lopsided. On that note.
See you later.
See you in the next one.